Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome to another edition of Thursday Night Lights brought to you by Sunny Days Media and CPNY Sports. Of course, we got myself here, Jerry, with along as my business partner and trusty companion, Pask, as well as Chris here. What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
How we doing, boys? We got a real barn burner tonight.
Yeah.
What up, gents? Yeah, this should be an interesting game. Not, but we'll see what happens.
I'm trying to dig in here. I don't even know where to jump in and what's going on. I guess I don't know.
Well,
We'll get
hey,
into it in a little bit.
Jerry, why don't we start, because it is a hot button topic and we've got some time here. Chris, sound off. Evan Neal, what do we think? What was that?
Yeah.
Ozo, bomb. What else you want me to call him? Dude, really? Sheep? Flipping burgers? This guy's closer to retirement and being out of the league than he is to a second contract. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. Did you see the video of him blocking Darren Waller? He literally pushed Darren Waller as he was trying to block, and he's going to go and call himself a lion? Dude, you're a fraud. The guy's a fraud. I'm sorry. Nothing else. No other words.
That was tasteless.
That's that New York media that everyone's talking about, that everyone thought Aaron Rodgers was going to have a fucking hard time dealing with, but that's it. It's not for everybody. It's hard to combat, but yeah, it's tough. You gotta, especially when you play a game like that, you gotta they don't have a leg to stand on. It's not even like, and again, I just hate to always relate things back to the Jets, but Jets are playing Hungary. They're just dog shit. I feel like the Giants have just been kind of like a walking corpse. And when you're making mistakes, like you were saying before, and shit like that, where the tape doesn't lie, there's literal video evidence of you playing in a National Football League game doing this, and you're gonna come out and talk my grandmother, who's never played a down of football in her life, can tell you, oh, I don't think that's right. It's just that's fucked.
I don't know how he thought that was gonna end. Like, there's shit that you say that you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. Like, maybe I gave away too much or whatever. But in what world did you think going after middle class, worker, which is you probably came from a middle class family, right? Like most of us do. In what world did you think that was going to play well? Right? And it's not even like he's doing something so minute and he's having an all-pro season and he's lighting it up and some asshole with a cheeseburger is like, you fucking suck. No, dude, you literally blocked your fucking tight end into the defender. I have never fucking seen that before. I have never seen that before. And instead of just getting it, the best thing you could do in this town when you fuck up, right? Lindor learned it.
Own it.
A lot, yeah. Just be like, yeah, I'm not playing up to my level of expectations. I'm not playing up to the organization's level of expectations. They drafted me in the first round for a reason, and I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. And you know what? You know what would have won everyone over? Okay, he gets it. He should have stood up and been like, you guys want to throw stones at that QB? It's not his fault. I am failing the organization. Yes, obviously Daniel Jones has made his mistakes, but as an offensive lineman, especially a first round pick, a guy that's highly touted, you came from Alabama, you've won national championships, you get expectations, you get where the bar is set. That's for you to stand up and be like, don't yell at that guy. Don't yell at that guy. He's doing his job. I'm not doing my job. That's my thoughts on that.
How long has he been in the league?
This is his second year, right?
This is the second year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And not
Dude's
to
still on probation.
Not to plug someone else's work, but if you're a Giant fan, obviously after you check out all of our stuff and Chris's Feeling Blue podcast, but go look up what Don LaGreca said, because I think that was spot on. And maybe it's cliche, but it was spot on.
I saw it. Yeah. I mean, dude,
Don's
I didn't even see, I didn't even
Don.
bother to look at his half-ass notes app apology on Instagram. I didn't even bother. I mean, the thing is as soon as you, Giants fans, as soon as you do that, you're done, man. You can own up to it, but no one's going to forget. And as soon as you slip up again, Not like he's not slipped up. He's slipped up his entire career. He had an awful rookie campaign, and he's started off even worse over here in his sophomore campaign. Like, what has he done in this league to even think in his right mind that was going to go over well? Like Pastor said, abysmal. So
I don't know. I think was it said? So I saw what happened, but was it said in the post game press conference? Was that what it was? Or was it it was? Okay. So yeah. I like to give guys benefit of the doubt when it comes to post game pressers, just because tensions are running, the adrenaline is still pumping through your body. You're coming down from a high that only a handful of people can ever experience. And it's just, you're literally out there, a figure of speech, of course, but you're literally out in the field fighting for your life for 60 or 48 minutes, however the fuck, or
60 minutes, 60 minutes.
60, yeah, not a math guy. Not a math guy. We have a talk show. We don't do math. But the fact that, it's all just raw emotion and raw adrenaline, and it's all coursing through your veins, and you're coming down from this, and then you got 60, we're in New York, so let's call it even 75 some odd reporters who you don't know, who never played it down to this game in your life, asking you questions. Hey, why'd you suck today? Hey, why'd you do this? Hey, why'd you do that? And you can't tell them to go fuck themselves. I think, I see where he's coming from, but also when you're doing what you're doing, Chris, to your point, when you haven't had, was he a high round draft pick, or is he kind of just
first round,
yeah. First round, 7th overall?
Shut your fucking mouth. No, you kind of got to know. And these dudes should be going through media training to prevent that, especially when you're younger. When you're a veteran and you've done it for so many years and you played nice and you just fucking, done the pony show for so long and you're sick of it. I understand it. But when you're that young and you're playing like this and you have all these expectations in a media market that is the most demanding probably in the country and in the league, it's tough. It's tough to see both sides of this, but I do understand, kind of the thought process, and that's just that there was none. He wasn't thinking straight up. He was just still coming down.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking. You know what's more concerning though for the Giants overall is that he is not even the first guy to have an ill-advised, I would say is the word to describe it, quote about the fans. Literally week 2, Kayvon Thibodeau, when the Giants were down 20-0 and they ended up coming back and winning, Kayvon Thibodeau threw a quote out there saying, "Oh, these fans booing, we know that nobody has our backs besides us." Dude, you were down 20-0 on the Cardinals versus the Cardinals. You got scored 60-0 in 6 quarters of football. Shut your mouth. You know what I mean? And I'm all for, I get it, and I get what Jerry's saying. I want to give the players the benefit of the doubt. But come on now. It gets to a certain point where, if you're saying this and the fans are getting on you because, it's a minuscule mistake, a slip up, whatever, and you guys are having a good season, you personally are having a good overall season, let alone the team, who's 1-3 right now, there's a time and place for it. You know what I mean?
And that's another guy that came in with massive expectations, and rightfully so, because the athleticism's there, the talent's there, the size, the speed, the strength, everything physically is there for Thibodeau. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I believe we spoke about it last Thursday.
We did.
So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. And Giants fans already know, I'm not telling them something they don't know. But I think
he notched 2 sacks last game, so I'll give him some credit there. Kayvon Thibodeau. So
I think it's there's some blunders. I mean, I don't know how much the PR staff, I don't know how much their involvement is, with the team and the Giants organization. And honestly, I don't really know how much PR staff, has with football team. I know in baseball, it's a much bigger thing, right? Because you play every day. These guys are talking every day. And if you're a Mets fan, Jay Horowitz for a reason, because we've had so many, and it's not his fault. It's just the knuckleheads that have been on the Mets. All about PR because of how many dumb things the Mets have done. But, not throwing anything. I certainly believe in Daboll. To me, this season as a whole is not totally indicative on Brian Daboll, but I do think that it is, and I'm sure he's already done it, but it's time to take your team by the balls and be you know what? If we're going to shit the bed, we're going to shit the bed, but you guys aren't going to go out and say dumb shit that's going to rain more on us. Like, we don't need that, right? Like, who are you guys playing this? You're playing the Dolphins. Like, the Dolphins offense is hard enough to stop, right? Like, I got to answer questions about Tyreek Hill, and I got to answer questions about my right guard, my right tackle, who's blocking our $1 million tight end into oblivion. Like, that I can't have. You know what I mean? So
yeah, accurate, 100%. I mean, just to close out this, because I mean, we're playing the Dolphins. I mean, this is 1-4 is inevitable. I already put my bets in for -9.5 Dolphin spread. I already did it.
No, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah,
so
no,
I've done it. I've done that before. You're not alone, Chris.
I might as well just make some money. You know what I mean at this point. So, just to close it out, man, I do agree with both of you guys, and it's like, and Matt, you just said it perfectly. I just want to reiterate what you just said. Like, you know, Dable doesn't have to be answering for these guys. He shouldn't have to be. With the way he's got other things to worry about, man. He's got other things to worry about. This should be the least of his priorities, but they have made it at the top of the list by default. So, we'll see. I mean, I don't want to hijack this as too much Giants talk. I'm not going to even get into the Seahawks game. I don't think it's worth mentioning. 24-3 blowout Monday Night Football. Third primetime game we've lost by more than 2 touchdowns. San Fran was probably the least worst of the 3. Daniel Jones, just want to trust his head on. You have an opportunity. You're at the 3-yard line. You have Darren Waller streaking wide open in the end zone. You're staring down your first read. Horrible. You're horrible. That was horrible. Dude, what the hell was that? Brian Dable throws his iPad on the sidelines, addressing the elephant in the room. Threw it, rightfully so. That is horrible. From a 5th-year quarterback, you cannot do that. You cut the score potentially to a field goal with a successful 2-point conversion. Instead, the other team's running for a 97-yard pick six because you want to stare your first read in Paris Campbell down. Brutal. He got sacked 11 times. There's 2 tails in the story. I quite frankly don't know who to pin that loss on. It wasn't the defense. They kept them in the ball game the whole game. Offensive line and Daniel Jones were as equally brutal the whole game. That's my thoughts on the Giants game, fellas.
He got sacked how many times? You say 11?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know where to put the blame, man.
That's nuts. All right, Jerry, what do we got tonight?
So before we go, I was going to talk Jets, but we'll save that for Sunday when we have. No, yeah, all right. Well,
get into the Jets.
As we all saw, the Jets got hosed, and if you weren't under the impression that Taylor Swift, or I don't even know how to phrase this, I guess the NFL is deep in Taylor Swift, or Taylor Swift is deep in the NFL pocket, or the NFL is deep in Taylor Swift's pocket. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and call that just throwing the game to keep Swifties happy or whatever, or Chiefs fans happy, or I don't know. But I did see today that the NFL is touting Taylor Swift and just pimping her out and like asking NFL partner networks to air. I don't know how true this is. It's Twitter. But asking NFL partnership networks to air commercials for her for free because she's such a large part of the game and bringing in all this viewership and stuff like that. And like, I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse because you go on Twitter and that's all it is Taylor Swift in the NFL, and I get it. And just my team was a victim of circumstance this weekend, but like, it's just that game was in the bag, and that was the best Zach Wilson has looked, I think, so far this season. And what did I say on Sunday? What was going to happen? Why did he look so good?
His back was against the wall.
Yeah. Oh no, forget about that. Aaron Rodgers was in the stadium. I think as long as Aaron Rodgers is there for Zach Wilson's going to rise to the occasion. So Aaron Rodgers, if you're listening to this show, which I know you tune in on both Thursdays and Sundays for our wonderful expertise, please keep going to the games, because if you don't, the team's going to struggle. That also being said, I do think there's a little bit of a running back controversy going on right now, and I think Breece Hall is starting to sound off. You can see it. He's saying that he's the fastest person on the team, despite, still recovering, like it's over. And Salah has said that the pitch count's off now. So I don't know if we're going to finally get Breece Hall back at the full tilt. I hope we do, because I'm starting him in fantasy in a couple different spots this weekend. So I'm hoping that pays off. But I like to think that that might have been – it would have been awesome to pull out a win there, especially against such a big team in a primetime game with Taylor Swift in the building. But just even coming close and covering the spread for that matter, the spread I think was, 8.5? It was high. It was really, really high.
8.5,
something like that.
8.5.
To even cover that spread when just being written off by everybody who was going to plan on watching that game is a huge win for the Jets. And I think we can build off this. I think there's a lot of room to grow here. To my understanding, the offensive line didn't look as bad as it have in the past weeks. Hand up, I didn't watch the full game. But it's just, I think this week's going to be huge for us. I think this week's going to, if we can put a hurting on the Broncos, I'm not going to say as hard as the Dolphins did, but if we can get something going against the Broncos and pull out a W here and go into the Eagles at 2-4, I think we'll be sitting okay.
Side note to that, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach Wilson had more passing yards than Mahomes in that game.
He outplayed him.
Yep.
He flat out outplayed him.
The defense, I've said it on a couple shows before. I felt like the defense was like performing okay and doing what they can, but as we said, they've been so tired they can't really produce like the stone wall that they are. The defense came to play. That's the Jets defense we've been waiting for.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift shit is annoying, but some people do have to, and this isn't a shot. This isn't a shot at you, Jerry, or what you just said. The freaking out about the Taylor Swift shit, like, don't get me wrong. If that was my team playing that night, I'd be so fucking annoyed, hands down. But we know the way the NFL is. We know the machine, this well-oiled money printing machine that the NFL is. There's a mutual interest there. I'm sure they want her to do the halftime show. It wouldn't shock me because they don't pay anyone to do the halftime show.
She's not gonna.
I know, but I think they're trying to plant a seed with her in some sort of marketing campaign, like somehow, right? The fact that like a woman as busy as Taylor is, like right after a tour, is going to 2 straight primetime NFL games, like, I don't know. There's a mutual interest there. That's all I'm going to say on Taylor.
Did you see the Taylor the NFL Instagram account had Chiefs are 2-0 as Swifties as their bio?
Yeah, like that's not that you're a league, like you shouldn't be doing that. You really shouldn't be doing that. Like that's showing a clear bias. And like as Lions fans, we always joked around about that with the Packers and how we were playing the Packers and the refs, right? Every time. I don't know, like used to be Dean Blandino. I don't know who is the head of officiating the NFL anymore.
No, Dean Blandino works for Fox.
He works for Fox. I know. I'm saying he used to be. He used to be the VP. Someone's got to explain to me what happened in the end of that game. Like with a straight face, right? Like just genuinely as a fan, like just sit me down and like walk me through any of those calls, because this horse shit that I hear every fucking week. Oh, there's holding on every. Yes, there's holding on every call, right? But we've set a standard here that we throw flags on the blatant ones. That left tackle was raping the edge defender. He had him in a chokehold.
At one point, it was.
What are we doing here? Like someone, you want to get away from the script shit. You want to get away from people accusing you of fixing games.
Fuck that.
Like,
hold on. Fuck that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's
all
all
right.
right.
About something that pisses me off with the NFL is that I'm not going to sit here and say it is scripted, because I watched that episode of Macrodose and it's funny with Arian Foster and everything, and it's a good joke. But there is some levity to the situation, obviously, as we can all see. They're fucking embracing it with this stupid fucking commercial with Keegan-Michael Key every single hour, every single Sunday. It's not funny. It's not self-aware. Fuck you. Especially now with shit like this. Yeah. Like, it's like,
that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's one thing to like lean into a joke, right? And be like, haha, we get it. Like, we know you guys are saying this, blah, blah, blah. It's another thing to have a blunder like that on national television and you just get to walk away scot-free. Man, like 2014, and I'm not going to say we got hosed because we only scored 3 points in the second half. Like that was the Lions' fault. But When that ref put that flag back in his pocket, like the pass interference never happened, like we deserve an explanation for that. What was your where is your explanation? How in the world is there a phantom defensive holding call on Sauce Gardner on an interception? Right? That's who it was. It was on Sauce, right?
Yeah, it was Sauce. Yeah, it was Sauce.
But that left tackle is isolated around no one and has an entire bicep, which is probably the size of my fat waist, around that man's neck, and that flag stays right in your pocket. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. That's absurd. Stop making commercials about scripts and start explaining to us. Because we're the idiots that are betting on your product. We're the idiots that are flying across the country to see your fucking product. We're the idiots that pay money for YouTube TV to watch this fucking shit. Stop making commercials about it. Start explaining it. If these refs have the fucking stones to throw the flag on everything else, they should, just like the players, have to stand up in front of the media every fucking week and get grilled. And if you can't fucking handle that, you shouldn't be a ref. NFL, Start making these guys full-time again. Start giving them better benefits. Start making them work year-round, not just during the fucking season. These guys shouldn't have 2 jobs. You are a multi-billion, last I checked, a $15 billion league. You've got the fucking money. Give these guys a pension. Give these guys an annuity fund. I don't fucking know, but this is bullshit. We're watching is fucking bullshit. Okay? Take the right steps. You are taking a lot of money from the gambling companies, and by God, this is really going to blow up. You talk about what's going to kill this sport? What's going to kill it? It's not going to be Colin Kaepernick kneeling on a sideline. Okay? It's not going to be politicians. It's going to be you fucking idiots taking money from FanDuel and DraftKings and not doing anything about that atrocity we see every week. And those refs just get to walk out of their dressing room and nothing. They just release a little bullshit statement with no recourse. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Are we fools for basing our happiness off our fucking teams? Yeah, I get it. But you know what? There's a lot of us fools, and we pay a lot of money for this product. Start making it better. This is ridiculous. We've got $1 million cameras that are going all across the stadium watching every play. We've got cameras in the fucking pylons. We got mics everywhere, and you can't figure out where a first down is? We're still using chains and a 55-year-old's eyesight? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke, and we are the assholes because we keep paying for it, and I'm still going to watch it tonight, but fuck them. That's it. Thanks, Ferry.
They're not using chains. They're not using chains anymore. They're using Slinky Dog. They upgraded.
Oh, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell.
Wow. Let the chef cook. God damn it. I'm gonna clip that and throw that on Twitter and just. Oof. That's gonna make us famous right there. Christ. But yeah, the man raises a good point. You know, it's all kind of bullshit, especially the gambling thing. I hate how I've talked at length about this before, but with the gambling thing and how harsh they are on the players, which I get, don't fuck it. You can't have your cake and eat it.
You've got to preserve. You've got to save the shield. I understand that. You've got to preserve. You've got to preserve the game and whatever the word is. The I don't know. You got to preserve the integrity of the game. I understand that. You can't have a Pete Rose out there, even if you're betting on your own team. I get it. Can't have that. But you know what else you can't have? What I just talked about. I'm not going through it again. I'm going to save the rest of my energy for the Chicago Bears because I'm about to rip them a new asshole. You bear down motherfuckers. Yeah, I was told you had a
monologue, but I don't know how you're going to fucking top that.
I'm sweating. I got sweat. I got a bead of sweat going from the top of my ass crack all the way down to my balls right now. I'm dying, and I got the AC pointed at my neck.
All right. Well, let's
cold, man. Goddamn.
We got the Chicago Bears going against the Washington Commanders in a toilet bowl of the season. For now, we'll see. It's still early. This game's going to stink. Although Dick Butkus apparently just died as of like an hour ago. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. That's going to probably, if anything's going to get the Bears their first win in 9 games, 10 games, whatever the fuck it is, I think it's a Bears legend probably passing away. So
one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time. Rest in peace, Dick Butkus.
Oh yeah. Here, hold on. I'm passing the ball to you, Pass. 1 second.
Passing the ball to me. What ball? Oh. That's not good. Okay, well, we got Washington. We got the Bears are traveling to Washington to play the Commanders. Before we get into the lines, before we get into my rant and the stats, I want to see Jerry's reaction to my rant. Oh, here he is.
I'm here. I was right here.
No,
Lindsay
all right.
just walked in.
Okay. So, I guess let's get into this game.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Couple notable injuries. Chase Claypool's hurt, I guess, right? Because he's going through whatever the fuck he's going through.
They're really doing a great job at like diminishing his value too. Like, let me tell you, you're not gonna get anyone to fucking trade for this guy.
Dude,
They're just gonna wait.
If there's one thing the NFL is good at, it's fucking their own player. Like, look at Jonathan Taylor. Look at Deshaun Watson. That's a horse of a different color. But before all the shit started to pile onto him, it looked like it was a hit job by the Texans. You look at Chase Claypool. You look, can't really throw that ball to Kaepernick, but you look at fucking Le'Veon Bell and shit like that. Like it's kind of scary how you can just go against whatever and make or break everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. All right. Fact of the matter is, both these teams just aren't good. You look at their stats for total yards for the pass. I don't know if this is for the season or against each other, but like it looks like.
You don't think the Commanders are very good?
I think the Commanders are okay. If you look at their last 5, the Commanders, they lost to Buffalo. They lost to the Eagles. Now the Eagles game was a good game. They lost in overtime. That's a more like I was talking about before the Jets. That's a moral win for the Commanders, a team that, to my understanding, didn't really have any expectations. Were playing with a lot of emotion given the new ownership and whatnot. But they lost. They beat the Bengals, who, as we can see right now, this is like they're not the Bengals of old. This week's going to decide what the Bengals are going to be looking like moving forward, just for the year. I don't think it's permanent. They beat the Cardinals, which the New Hyde Park Gladiators can beat the Cardinals. That's not everybody can beat the Cardinals except for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know. I we'll save that for Sunday, but I have a little more belief in the Cardinals than most. I don't think that they're good, but I don't think that they're picking first in the draft. Put it that way.
Who is though? Because I said it was going to be the Texans, and the Texans are proving me wrong, and so is CJ Stroud. So I don't know who's.
I think it might be.
It might be the Giants.
I think it could be the Bears. I would say it could be the Panthers, but the Panthers apparently don't have a first-round pick. It goes to the Bears.
Yeah. I think it'll be the Bears one way or another. I think.
Yeah. And then they beat the Broncos, which, the Broncos fall into in my understanding, in my opinion, rather. The Broncos, I think, fall better into that category that the Cardinals were supposed to be slotted in. If you're looking at teams with promise and hope. That's not to say they're not bad. I think not good, rather. I think they're scrappy, if that makes sense. I think they're going to play you hard, and it's because if you look at the box score minus the Bills game, all these games are close. They lost to the Eagles by a field goal. They beat the Broncos by 2 points. They beat the Cardinals by 4. They beat the Bengals by 3. So it's like they're all pretty good games. They're playing these games well. They're not blowing out teams, but the Bears, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But again, like I was saying, I think the Bears are gonna play. I think they're gonna fucking turn it up a notch now with Dick. But you, as we always say in college, passed away games or deceased games or posthumous game. I don't know how to fucking word it, but when somebody dies, you bet the person that's the team of the person that's dying.
I'm gonna let you take the floor. Take the floor. Pass. I know you want to sound off, and I'll give.
Yeah, you look like you have something to say.
Maybe a little bit more rational takes coming secondary, but let's hear what you got to say.
R.I.P. Dick Butkus, hell of a player, one of the greatest of all time to ever do it. We don't say his name often, but he is very important to this game and the history of this game. So R.I.P. to that guy. Washington. They're I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about Washington. They seem like there's days where they look middle of the pack, and then there's days where they look very good. Sam Howell's been very hot and cold. Definitely looks a lot better than Wentz did. I think was Wentz last year for them. He was, right? He was a Colt before
no,
that.
it It was more
Oh,
yes, but
yeah,
it was more
yeah.
so Heineke. It was more so Heineke.
Heineke, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I love Riverboat Ron. I'll never root against that guy unless we're playing against him. A lot of respect for that guy, coaching through cancer and doing everything he did. What I think it was last year. So, Washington. I don't really know how to read them. Middle of the road expectations, put it that way. I would say it's a franchise with a bright future ahead, especially with Schneider out, that piece of shit that he was. So good for them. Good for that fan base, man. Like, I know what that felt like as a Mets fan when you get new ownership coming in that, like, genuinely wants to win. And listen, in the NFL, like, you have to spend every year, like, you have to spend on the salary. So it's not a direct correlation to baseball, but it is a difference when you have an ownership group that wants to come in and wants to invest, obviously not just in player salaries, but in the facilities, in the brand itself, in a new stadium. And I think if you're this new owner, he's the guy that owns the 76ers. I forgot his name.
I don't know his name either, but yeah.
If you're whoever this guy is, like, the best thing you could do is to hire what you believe is the right people and then get the fuck out of the room. Right? Dan Schneider, that those stories of him just walking in on draft night and just picking a guy that he liked because he watched one college game. When you have a room full of scouts that have been doing this for months on this draft class and doing this for years, and they know what they're doing. They're supposed to know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, get rid of them. So the best thing this guy could do, and I hope for that fan base, I hope this guy hires the right people and steps away. Now we're going to move on to the Bears, and I don't think any Bears fans are watching this, but we're going to do this anyway. Chicago, you talked a lot of shit this offseason. A lot of shit. Okay? I saw predictions out there of 10, 11, 12 wins. I work in the South Bronx, man. I see a lot of crack cocaine every single day. I see a lot of people smoking it. I see a lot of people snorting it, and there's no shame out on the sidewalks of the Grand Concourse. What the fuck are you smoking if you think this group of fucking idiots was going to win 10 to 11 games? You are a mess of an organization, a mess of a locker room. You got wide receivers complaining, then not showing up. You've got a quarterback who's complaining about his coaching staff and then has to walk it back 2 hours later. Where the fuck is your PR staff? What? How does nobody put a fucking foot in this guy's mouth? You're going to let this guy ruin his fucking career. You're going to ruin whatever trade value he's got. And he's got tremendous talent. It doesn't... His deficiencies still don't make sense to me, and I'm not a quarterback guru, so I'd love for a legitimate quarterback to explain this one to me, because this guy, I watched this guy light it the fuck up on New Year's, given it was at Ohio State, and I know college is different, but this kid was running around with like broken ribs and a busted shoulder, completing throws 40, 50 yards down the field. He looked like a superstar. I didn't have high expectations for him before that. When I saw that game, I was like, man, whoever gets this guy, like, this guy's going to be a fucking stud. He wants it. He may not be the smartest. He may not be the fastest, right, in comparison to some other people. But, like, man, this kid's a fucking athlete, and he wants it. And if he gets put with the right coaching staff, he'll figure it out. Well, he went to the wrong coaching staff. Darnell Wright, first-round pick this year. Invest in the trenches. Yeah, that's what you should be doing. 65.9 PFF grade. Guy looks like shit. Chicago on offense. What sticks out to me? You're not bad. You're 119 yards a game on the ground. That's 13th in the league. You're 18.8 points per game. That's 22nd in the league. Jerry, you know you could do it 18.8 points per game? You know you could do, Jerry? You could wipe your fucking ass. You could wipe your ass with 18.8 points per game. No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm sorry. Is that the 85 Bears on the other side of the ball? You hear anybody yell 46 defense? No, I didn't. I don't see it either. Eddie Jackson, keep talking shit. You look like shit, Eddie. You look like shit. You were a once Pro Bowler in this league. You were a stud. You were a guy I envied. I wanted the Lions to get Eddie Jackson. Now, I wouldn't touch Eddie Jackson with a 10-foot pole. If Grandma Chia follows around, put her out there at free safety.
I'll tell you what.
You fucking morons. You had Roquan Smith, the best middle linebacker in the NFL, in my opinion. A product of Georgia. What'd you do? You trade him away for a second-round pick to invest in 2 more lesser linebackers? Chicago fans, you thought this was the best team in the North? You thought this was the best? You might not be better than the Vikings this year. And they're going to trade Kirk Cousins. They blow it. They blow a lead. I can't make a comparison because we might, not that we're monetized, but I don't want to flag anything here. I had a good Riley Reid joke. You fucking idiots. Let's go on to the defense because you're known for your defense. The Monsters of the Midway, 58.9% third down percentage. Chris, where do you think that's ranked among the NFL?
30th.
Dead last. 32nd. Dead last. Dead last. The Arizona Cardinals are trying to lose games. And you're worse. You are so worse by every metric. You are worse. You fans, you morons, you guys. Now we're the Lions. We're the basement. We know we're the basement. We know we're trash. I'm the trash man. I throw a lot of trash on the ring. I eat it. That's what we are. We know that we're trash, right? All right? We were living in a DSW shoebox out in the cold. You fucking idiots thought you found a fucking Louis Vuitton box and you thought that you were living in a better house than us. You were garbage just like us. You suck. But you know what the difference is? Is that the Lions realized it. The Lions realized it. They took the greatest quarterback that this franchise ever saw, and they shipped him away in a really, really unpopular trade. And none of us liked it, and it sucked. But we came out better for it. They basically told the fans, hey, for the next 2 years, this is gonna look rough. Like it's not gonna be pretty. It got to the point where the NFL had to reach out to the Lions for their poor attendance and like, you got to figure something out. Like it got bad. It got really bad. But then it got better.
When did it get good? How long did it take? 2 years?
Well, I mean, if you want to consider last year good, they went 9-8. They started off 1-6.
I do. I definitely consider last year good.
Now they're in blue ski masks, so.
Fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck you, Chris. Oh, fuck you and Daniel Jones. I was nice before. I'm going to rip your head off and shit down your throat. The Lions took their lumps. And everyone laughed. And the season ain't over. I mean, the Lions could collapse here, right? Like, I'm no fool. I get it. But you laughed, Chicago Bears fans. You laughed. You laughed at Dan Campbell's press conference. You laughed at Brad Holmes taking a middle linebacker and a running back in the first round. Well, the guys you took suck. They suck. Top to bottom, they suck. Your free agency sucks. In polls we trust? In polls, which polls? Stripper polls? Because your GM's a fucking joke. A joke.
Yeah.
You guys stood on top of a Louis Vuitton box and preached like it was Sunday Mass on Twitter. Oh, the Bears are going to run the North. We're going to run the... You're not running shit. You might not run the fucking basement. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And don't be so sure that you're going to get Caleb Williams. That guy's making a lot of NIL money. He sees what you just did to Justin Fields. The report out there is that he said all that because he doesn't want to go to the Cardinals because they, of what happened, how they moved on from Rosen and then Kyler and whatever. What makes you think he wants to come to Chicago? What makes you think?
He has a list. What's his list? He has a list out there. The Giants are on
that list doesn't fucking mean shit.
Yeah, I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true. But what is true is what his father said to the media, and that he could very well stay one more year at USC. With the NIL money, there's no... I mean, what's stopping him from doing that, right? So, Bears fans, I think you took a piece of humble pie. I think you got to step back, realize where you actually are, because right now it's not pretty. And I think you need to think twice before you really start talking shit. Because you're not there yet. You're not close. You're probably firing your head coach at the end of the season. You're probably firing your GM at the end of the season because he's the moron that designed this. You're probably getting rid of that really talented quarterback you have. Good luck finding another one. Good luck. Because it's really, really, really hard. We watch a lot of franchises struggle with this. It's really fucking hard. So good luck. Good luck with those first 2 picks. That's it.
You know what the wild
Bears fans,
thing
check
is?
yourself.
Not even wild. They're not going to. They're not going to because every single Bears fan that when they get faced with what you just said to them, they're going to hit you with, it's the Chicago Bears. We knew this was going to happen. No, you fucking didn't. No, you didn't.
Get
And like,
the
listen,
fuck
I'm on
no.
the same.
No.
No, you didn't. They were so high and mighty, and granted, honestly, so were Jet fans were very high and mighty too. So I understand where they're coming from. We had a freak accident. Your team stinks. Like, they're not gonna apologize and eat their crow. They're just gonna be like, we knew this was gonna happen. Virginia McCaskey, blah blah blah, Arlington Heights, whatever the fuck. Like, they're just gonna have a laundry list of excuses and just let that be that. They're not gonna be accountable. And then, like you said, they're gonna do something in the draft, and they're gonna have the first and second pick because the Panthers fucking suck, and they're gonna get somebody out of a big top 10 school and ruin them too. And the cycle's just gonna go on and on and on until a change is made.
Well, I do have a fear, Chris. I know you're about to go, and I'm sorry. I have a fear that Jim Harbaugh is not totally committed to Michigan, and he will go to one of the two. He'll go to an NFC. I have a fear that he's going to go to an NFC North team. And don't forget, before he signed that extension with Michigan, he did go to Minnesota in a private jet for a head coaching interview. Don't forget that. So he's got his eyes on the North. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of talk of him coming back to the NFL. That I wouldn't like to see because he's a guy that would definitely get the Bears on the road. Well, he would get them on the track, whether the organization follows through. But as a coach, he's not a guy I'd want to see twice a year. Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm actually thankful. I mean, I feel terrible as a Giants fan this season. But when I look over to Chicago, I feel a little bit better. Just a little bit. And I know that's the bare minimum.
It's like being the skinniest guy at a Weight Watchers.
Pun intended. Ah.
No, all things aside, Chicago Bears fans, I mean, I don't know what's up their asses, but definitely one of my least favorite fan bases outside of the NFC East, personally. No offense if you guys are watching because we appreciate you tuning in, but yeah, I don't know. Collectively. Anyways, regardless, I know Pass just went on the Bears. I'm gonna touch on the Commanders, man. I honestly think the Commanders, and I owe them an apology. I owe the Commanders an apology. I'm in a DMV. Most of my friends, most of my close friends, my good friends, love them. They're Commanders fans. We've been battling through the years. We've been in the basement together the last couple of years. They are in a good spot, like Pass just said. They are going to be a talented team moving forward. Sam Howell didn't see it in him. That guy can sling the ball. We'll say that. Go ahead, Pass.
No, I was just tuning in, and you reminded me of the Shaq.
I thought
meme.
you were gonna follow up with like, yes, hell yes, Sam Howell can.
Yeah. No, you remind me of the Shaq meme where he's like, "I apologize, I was not aware of your
your good game."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Sam Howell, man, he can sling the ball. Definitely makes a couple of mistakes. Their offensive line is what it is, similar to the Giants. I think Giants' offensive line is a little bit worse off, but they are a talented team. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin on the outside. Brian Robinson Jr., guy's a stud. Absolute stud. Unfortunate what happened to him when he was a rookie. Unfortunately, did get shot. I don't know where he was hanging around in the DC area, but the season he's putting together right now is impressive. It's awesome. I love it. And I know we're going to get into our bets, and I got a lot of Brian Robinson Jr. in my bets because he's putting that together, that type of season. But it just seems like they're such a scrappy team. They remind me of the Giants last year where they have the camaraderie and the heart and the scrappiness. I don't see that in the Giants this year. I see it in the Commanders. I do not see it in the Giants. So I know that you know, when we get into our bets here, we're probably going to have Commanders across the board. As it pertains to the Bears, man, I did have higher expectations. I did think that they put together a decent offseason. Yeah, I thought they put together a decent offseason. They invested the money.
It takes time. It takes time.
It does.
This is the shit that people don't realize is that it's not Madden, it's not fantasy football. When you talk about an offensive and defensive, specifically an offensive line, it takes typically over a season for that unit to really like become cohesive and legitimate. You know, I've said it before. Well, when it pertains to the Eagles and the Lions, those are just two of the offensive lines that are ranked in the top 3, top 5. Like, all of those guys have been playing forever together. How long have we been watching Jason Kelsey snap the ball in Philly?
Yeah.
How long has Lane Johnson been blocking a tackle for the Eagles? And before that, it was Jason Peters. Like, all those guys were playing together forever. And so, and they were talented, yes, but like, it takes
Talent has to be there, Pask.
the
The talent
talent's
has to be there.
Yes, but you can't just go and take the best offensive linemen on. You can't take the 5 best guys at those respective positions in the NFL and just think they're going to be a top unit. Like, it doesn't, and especially when you do it through the draft, it's going to take time. And that doesn't mean that 2 years from now the Bears won't have a really good line. But I knew right now they weren't, because they're young. You just threw it all together, and none of these guys are proven. So it's going to take time. It's going to. I said to Bears fans all offseason, like, I think you'll be good. I just don't think it's going to be now. And God knows it's going to happen when you blow it up at the end of the season. Because Chicago's very similar to New York. Those fans are fucking loud. They are loud and they demand change.
I agree with you.
It's hard to attract talent when you're teams like the Jets, the Lions, the Browns, the Bengals, the Bears. You are these notorious losing fucking organizations. It is so hard to attract good talent, not just in free agency, but in the coaching standpoint, right? Like, you just saw Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator on Detroit, got a head coaching interview in Carolina, and he turned it down. Now, given the Lions gave him a bit of a raise, I think his salary went from like $150,000 to like $800,000. But he was going to make millions in Carolina. He was going to make a lot more, and that tax code's a lot more friendly than Michigan is. But personally, you know why he didn't go to, in my opinion, why he didn't go to Carolina? He said he wants to finish the job in Detroit. Sure, I buy that. But you know what else I buy? The Panthers are a mess. They're a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Why do you want to tie your name to that? Typically, you get one shot at this. You get one shot at being a head coach or a GM. You typically get one shot at one of those jobs, and there's only 32 of them. There's only 32, so you better make it count. You better put together a nice resume. Very few guys get that second chance. If you are a good candidate for either one of those positions, why the fuck would you want to go to Chicago? Why?
Yeah, good points, man. Great points there. I don't know, man. The Bears roster, I mean, we all knew the offensive line deficiencies. I think some teams just think they can get away with that. And their quarterback, like you said, Justin Fields has the talent, but they can get away with that, having a bad offensive line because your quarterback's talent's gonna pick you up. It doesn't make no sense. Anyways, regardless, all things aside, I do have to hop off here in 7 minutes. I think For Life Niner here has a good question for you all to address after I hop off. Something surrounding what would the NFL look like? What would football look like in general if there was no betting? And I know we kind of touched on that before, but to fully ask that is actually a really good question. What I want to do
exactly like it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to actually just following that. I just want to get into my bets for tonight because I want to win some money and I want to go on record for winning some money. So, can I get a drum roll? Go ahead and just. All right, parlay number 1. I have too many parlays, and I'm obviously taking the Commander spread because the Bears are a absolute mess. I'm taking the -6, standalone, prop, hammer it, whatever you got to do. First parlay. What I've done recently, I've been very successful. I've actually hit a couple of bets that we've hit that I've stated on here on Thursday Night Lights. I had a hell of a day. I think it was either last Thursday night or the
last Thursday. You did hit last Thursday.
Yeah, last Thursday. Yeah. I had a hell of a night. I bet low units, but I win me some money. Low odds, short, little 2-3 leg parlays. That's my bread and butter. That's what I feel like gives me the best odds of winning. So parlay number 1, I got the Commanders at a -1.5 alt spread. I understand their spread is at -6 right now. Alt it -1.5. Parlay that with Justin Fields, 25 plus rushing yards. I think that's pretty easy. I think his offensive line is going to make him scramble, get out of the pocket. He's going to get those 25 yards. He might even do it in one play. And then you got Scary Terry McLaurin, all reliable. Sam Howell can sling the ball. I believe in Sam Howell. This is the first time I've ever officially said it out in the open, but I officially believe in Sam Howell's throwing abilities. Give me his alt, 40 plus yards. Pass, what is that? 130. What is that for the banner?
134. I have 134 up here, but that was your first
Plus
parlay.
134. There it is. Scrolling banner. So parlay number 1 for me. Justin Fields, alternate rushing yards, 25 plus rush yards. McLaurin, alternate receiving yards at 40 plus. Commanders at -1.5 alt spread. Parlay number 2. If you want to just scroll that real quick, because I really forgot what it was. Oh, I do remember what it was. Brian Robinson Jr. Shout out Brian Robertson Jr. Another low parlay. But if you toss $10, $15, you'll get your money back and then some. Brian Robertson Jr. anytime touchdown. His standalone prop for anytime TD is -165 right now. Just want to throw that out there. Value is not there for anytime touchdown alone. If you combine his rushing yards, alt 50 plus yards, and you combine that with Commander's money line, you'll come out with plus.
Oh, we lost you there, Chris. Oh no, we're losing Chris. He's figuring it out.
He's good.
Chris, when you get a chance, Chris, what are the odds on that? I'm just putting it up on the screen here.
Which one?
The second one, Tommy's money line, Robinson TD, Robinson alt.
Plus 119. Plus 119.
119.
Yeah,
and you're on FanDuel?
FanDuel. Yep, FanDuel. Okay. I think these are just great ways to go. To be honest with you, low odd parlays, 2 to 3 legs, find you a 2 or 3 prop bets that you love and hit anywhere between plus 120 and plus 200. I promise you it's worth it. Skip out on the 7-leg bombs, 500 plus 500 and up. I've done that, been there. You'll win your money, I guarantee it, but you'll lose more often than you win. Get those low 10, 20, $20 on there. That'll win you 25 right there. 22, 25. I'm no mathematician, like Jerry said before, but that'll win you some money. I like to put these at like what, $10, $15. Make myself a nice $30, $45 at the end of the day, depending on how many I put in there for one game. That's what I did for Thursday Night Lights last week. So I like these bets. Brian Robertson Jr., I think is going to have a good day. I think Sam Howell will have his way with the Bears defense. Terry McLaurin, man, it depends on how Sam Howell's distributing the ball. It's either McLaurin, Dotson can have a day, but outside of them, I don't really know who else he has to throw the ball to. I'm not really studying up on the Commanders' offense, but those are the 2 weapons Sam Howell has to distribute the ball to, minus Brian Robertson Jr. You create 2 parlays, Brian Robertson TD plus yards, or you have Fields and Terry McLaurin. I think those are the way to go. But at the end of the day, I also put 2 units on Commanders -6 because I really do think the Commanders are better than what people give them credit for, and I can see them covering that -6. I think they win by a touchdown tonight. We'll revisit this conversation next week, but those are my bets, gentlemen. And with that, I leave you all. I do have to log off.
Chris, before you log off, let me know what's good with shoot me a text. Let me know what's good with Sunday. If you are around, let me know what's good with Sunday. All right?
Okay. I think I'm in for Sunday. You let me know. I'll be in. We'll actually be heading out to the city myself, but not in New York City. Obviously, I'm talking about DC, but I can do the show. I can do Sunday, and then I'll just be heading off right afterwards. So you let me know. I will be on.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Cool.
Appreciate
Sounds good. We'll see you on Sunday, pal.
Catch you all. See you all. Appreciate you. See ya.
See you later, Chris. All right, Jerry, what do you got?
All right. So as we were talking about the entire time before, this game is going to be a dumpster fire. My bet, the one that I like the most is to Chris's point, I do think the Commanders are better than people are giving them credit for. 6 points is a lot of points. A lot of points for a game that especially is going to be a death game now with the death of Dick Butkus. I think Commanders went outright. So I like the Commanders money line with under 44.5. This game's going to be a dumpster fire. I don't think there's going to be a lot going on. I was going to say that the Bears have a good defense, but you threw some numbers in my face that just completely proved me wrong. So that's just not true. So we'll see what the deal is.
I have more numbers if you want to hear them.
No, I believe you, but also at the same time, like as bad as the Bears' defense is, their offense isn't much better. So you know, you look at things like the Commanders could probably win this game 27-3 or something like that, and that's still hitting the under. So I like Commanders money line with the under. But also to Chris's point again with Jahan Dotson, I need Jahan Dotson to show up tonight. I need him to be Sam Howell's number one if he can. I just had to make a very weird decision, game time decision in fantasy. I got fucking fucked with buys this week in one league, and I had to start him and I had to start Khalil Herbert. So I need both of those players to show up tonight. So that'd be nice.
All right, that's all on the gambling side for you, Jerry.
That's all I got for the gambling side. We're playing small. I don't even know what the odds are with that. Let me see. Hold on. Fill the void with some background noise. Come on, FanDuel. We're looking at under plus 155 for the 2-pick. Not bad.
Okay, that's nice. That's decent. That's decent odds. What worries me with the under is how shitty the Bears defense looks. That's my only worry. But honestly, as bad as their defense is, if their offense comes out and just lays an egg and puts up like 6 points, you'll hit that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand the rationale. I don't have the stones. To take the under here. I obviously like Washington money line more than I like the spread, but I want to just lean on one thing here, and I'm up a little bit from Monday night. So knock on wood. Where's the wood? Oh, the molding over there. There you go. Knock on some wood. I'm gonna take Commanders -6. It's basic. It's not a nuclear missile whale play. I'm not Big Cat. Wish I was. Would love to have some of that money, but
you look like him.
I look like him. Shit, man. Someone tell him. Get me that job at Barstool. I don't have a lot here. The Bears have trouble getting off on third down. Washington offensively, so the Bears are 58, almost 60% of the time. Whoever they're playing defense against converts on third. Washington, on the other side of that, they're 27th in the league, 33.3% they convert. So, it's kind of like a weakness of both going against each other here. It's not a high-powered offense, but Riverboat Ron likes to gamble. My worry is that Riverboat Ron plays tight games too. Like, I think, on paper they should beat the shit out of the Bears tonight. There should be a 21-3 game, a 21-10 game. I don't know that that's what it'll be. I'm hoping that's what it is. So we'll both get a little scuttle tonight, but we'll see what happens. Not an interesting play. I just had to play something. That was my play. I'm not a big player prop guy. Anybody who listens to the show, they know that. We do have a nice Sunday slate coming just before we close up, Jerry.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, we got a tremendous Sunday slate coming up. A lot of fun things to bet on. Texans, Falcons. If you were on the Texans last week, I believe.
I still have the Texans. You want to talk about being better than people give you credit for? The fucking Houston Texans.
Yeah. Houston
Texans are going to have 7 wins this season. I'm confident in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a team that's going to overachieve. That's a team that everyone just wrote off, and they're not a bad team. They're really not a bad team. They had a nice. Who did they beat last week? They were it was 1.5. The Titans. No, it wasn't the Titans. Whoever they beat, they were 1.5 point underdogs. Or no, they were 3 point. I think they were 3 point underdogs. Right?
It was 3 point underdogs.
The Rams game was 1.5.
It was the what the fuck? Come on. The Steelers 3 point underdogs. They beat the shit out of the
Steelers because the Steelers are fucking dog water. Speaking of
dog
water,
I'm also really high on. That's kind of in the same boat as the Texans, the Colts. I like the Colts.
I was about to say that. That's the game I was zeroing in on.
Yeah.
You can get the Colts right now at 2.5. I like that, man. Throw that money line. Throw that 115 money. Or actually, at that point, if you're getting plus 2.5, maybe you take the points. I guess it depends on a mindset. Throw that on a parlay.
2.5's a bad. 2.5's a bad number. I don't like that number.
I know you keep saying that. But Dolphins are 12.5. against the Giants this week. I'm taking the Dolphins.
They're
I'm
gonna
taking the
cover.
Dolphins.
They're gonna
I think
cover
they're going to
that.
cover. Yeah, I think
They're
they're going to
gonna cover
mollywop them. And Jaguars Bills is an interesting line. They're in London. Jaguars have stayed in London for the past week because they played there last Sunday.
Hammer the Jags here, dude. Hammer the Jags.
You know what? Let's see Sunday morning, and maybe we could start. We have to see. Maybe we start a little earlier because that game's on at 9. I mean, we have to see what everyone's schedule is. But that's a 9:30 game. Although it's nice, I guess, coming in middle of the game anyway. But that's an interesting line. That's something to think about. But you got anything else to close out, Jerry?
Yeah, I want to touch on 49ers fan, or I'm sorry.
Yes,
your
49er for life.
Appreciate you tuning in. 49er for life, my guy. I want to. Yeah, here we go. All love, baby. All love. I want to touch base on your point before. What would the NFL look like without gambling? I think the answer to this is really, really simple. It would just literally look like what it looked like in 2015, 2016. I don't know. When did sports, when did it get big outside of New Jersey and Las Vegas? I would say 2018, 2019, right?
2019, yeah.
Right? Before that, it was a known thing, obviously. And it was, we've all seen Two for the Money with fucking Pacino and McConaughey. Great movie. And, Stu Feiner has been around forever and all this stuff. Sports gambling has always been there. However, sports gambling was a lot like prostitution, where it was kind of one of the world's oldest professions, but mum was the word. You never heard Howard Cosell and John Madden talking about the lines or the overs or the spreads or this, that, and the other thing. That's just not how it goes. Howard Cosell never announced with John Madden. I'm thinking about, I don't even remember what the fuck that guy's name was. But you know what I'm trying to say here. It was never a talking point.
Pat Summerall.
It was never a talking point on major sports networks during and now everywhere you look, everything is spreads, over-unders, this, that, and the other thing, player props. There's full-on shows dedicated to gambling, and I get it, and I'm cool with it, and it's fun and whatever. There's no reason why it shouldn't have been illegal in the first place. You got money to spend. You want to do it this way? Go ahead. Fuck it. Lottery's been legal for forever, but it bothers me to no end. And again, we've talked about this at length before. I've went on rants, not as good as yours too from earlier, but I've been on rants where the NFL should have no hand in this. The NHL should have no hand in this. All major professional sports leagues should not touch this. If you want to advertise with them, fine, do that. But they shouldn't be official partners of the league. There shouldn't be, you can go as far as having
charge the books
in the stadium. I get that, but I just don't. It's too sketchy, and it almost feels like they are in bed with each other again. Going back to the script thing, writing the script, and making sure. Oh, we want that -2.5 to hit. Oh, we want this over to hit, so we're gonna fucking blow a call. It can get sketchy, but I don't think the game would look any different. I do think there'd be a little less engagement. And people wouldn't be as invested as they are now, but I don't think things would be different.
There'd be a lot less money going around because there's no doubt that these books, they have to pay the NFL to use player names and logos and all that shit. They have to pay for the rights to do that. So they're bringing in a ton of money.
And the wild thing is, dude, that these books don't make any money. Not that I've studied their financials or anything like that, but I've seen reports and stuff where you look at their year end of their fiscal reports, they're either just about even or in the red because they're not, because think about how much money they pay Kevin Hart for every single DraftKings commercial.
Oh, well, that's okay.
They're sinking billion with a B in advertising, not to mention, like you were saying, the licenses of the leagues and all this stuff. Look at the state of New York.
I disagree with you for one reason. The state of New York, if you want to have a book in New York, a sports book, gambling book, 51% of your revenue goes into is taxed, right? Mm-hmm. So when all of this opened up in 2022, and this is my last point, I got to jump off. It's Julie's birthday. But 2022, when this opened, they made between the NFL playoffs, from the start of the NFL playoffs to, I believe, the end of March Madness, they generated $1 billion in the state of New York alone in that whatever month span. That means they brought in
They came in late. They came in like
900
October too, right?
What?
They came in like late in the year.
No,
right?
no, they came in January. They came in January.
Oh,
so from January to April, they generated $1 billion. That means that they made about $2 billion because they're giving 51% back to New York State. So listen, they're generating now. How much they're putting into advertisement, I don't know. But in terms of generating money, they are generating money, man, big time. But I got to get out of here. You got anything else, Jerry?
No, that's it. Friends and family, tune in. Tune in Sunday morning. We'll be here. Pay attention to our socials. We're still a little unsure on the time here. We want to make sure we're coinciding with the Jaguars game as best as we can.
9:30, 10 o'clock start, something like that. Probably 10.
Yeah, it sounds
probably
about
10.
right.
On this channel.
Yeah. So we'll tweet everything out. Be on the lookout for any blogs that might be coming out in a couple days. The boys are starting back up very, very soon, so I'll be on my hockey bullshit very soon, which is fun. So if there's any overlap there. But otherwise, we'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
We'll see you guys.